Audio Jungle.
Hello, and welcome to my text talk. Today, I will be reviewing Marie de France's L'Envol. It's a story that blends love, betrayal, and the dangers of pride, all in the setting of King Arthur's court. So, as the story begins, we learn that L'Envol is a strong and powerful knight in King Arthur's court. And King Arthur is known for rewarding his troops with um, lavish gifts, parties, feasts, women, gold. So as the story starts, there's one particular celebration that's going on at the moment, and that's when we learn exactly L'Envol's standing. Like, he's known, but he's not really known. Like, King Arthur doesn't really know exactly who he is. Like, he doesn't know him from Adam, so to speak, but he still takes care of his troops. And then the other troops that he fights alongside, they could care less if anything happens to him or not. You know, they didn't hate him, but they wouldn't be sad if something had happened to him. So while they're out celebrating, L'Envol kind of goes off on his own, and he's in the woods and he's relaxing, you know, looking out at the sky, and he's approached by these two ladies. The two ladies, they take him deep into the woods, and they say to meet their mistress. So he goes in and he meets the elf queen, so to speak. And she's so beautiful that he's stunned by her beauty, and they end up having a tryst, or hooking up, as we would say. So the next day after their hookup, she tells him that he can go back to his life, but he must not tell anyone about her. And I'm assuming with a person like him, that would be hard to do, because I know if I met a beautiful woman in the woods, I would want to tell someone, but then I would, I'd be kind of hesitant on doing it, because people may think I'm crazy, So, but anyway, so he goes back and he makes it back to the castle, and he's amongst some other troops, and he still kind of wanders off by himself. And then he catches the eye of the queen, which is King Arthur's wife, Guinevere. So she sees him and she's like, okay, basically, like, I like him, and let me go see what's going on with him. Let me go check him out. So she pulls him to the side and she kind of tells him how she feels about him, that she likes him and that she wants to hook up with him. L'Envol kind of looks, and he's puzzled. He's basically like, my lady, I can't do this, because your husband is my king and I would not betray him that way. So upon hearing that, she becomes angry, and she decides to accuse him of being homosexual, which I'm sure in that time was frowned upon in that day and time. So once he hears that, I don't know if it's like it has to be a God thing, because the first thing he does is, he disputes her accusation, and he basically tells her that I have a woman that is prettier than you, she's finer than you, and she loves me. So he spoke of the elf queen, which she asked him not to do. So then Guinevere tells the king that L'Envol basically attempted to sleep with her, and now he must be punished. So his punishment was he would have to go to trial and be arrested and probably sentenced to death. So before his trial, he longed for the elf queen to come and to save him, and Throughout it all, she heard him. And she finally came and she proved that everything that he said was true. And they basically left and they lived happily ever after. So the reason I love this story is because I think in this day and age, especially with everyone being so sensitive about things, it's easy to get caught up in a situation such as this. You know, someone can go and say anything about you and doesn't have to be true, doesn't have to be proven, they don't have to have any proof, and people will run with it. So I believe that's why I identified with this story. It's kind of like, it makes me think of the situations that we have with, you know, policing in the Black community, and how anyone can say anything about you. Anyone with standing can say something about you that doesn't necessarily have to be true, but it's believed and it's dealt with in a harsh manner before it's even investigated. So, as I said, Linval is my favorite story that we've read so far. So now I'm going to treat you to a excerpt from one of the scenes, one of my favorite scenes in the story, along with some illustrations that I had drawn. So I hope you enjoy it.
Lanval, I really do respect you. I really care. I really love. And you can have all of my love. Tell me what you want. I expect you must be happy at what I say. I'm offering to go all the way.
Lady, let me go. I never thought to love you so. I've served the king for many a day. His faith in me I won't betray. Not for you, your love, or anything would I ever act against my king. The queen's heart filled with anger. Furious, she spoke a slander.
I think they're right. You don't care much for such delight. People have told me again and again that women offer you no pleasure. With a few well-schooled young men, you prefer to pass your leisure. Peasant coward, faithless sinner. My lord the king is hardly the winner in letting your sort hang around. He's losing God's own favor, I found.